So after all of these invasions, the Roman invasion and all of the invasions from Northern Europe, came another significant invasion. In AD 789, the Vikings arrived from Norway and Denmark. Now, the Vikings were quite vicious and they did use this opportunity to pillage a lot of villages, and they would steal goods and they would also traffic people as slaves. So it's important to remember the sort of nature of this attack as well as the year. Around the time of the Viking invasion, people towards the north of England and in Scotland were becoming very concerned. They were worried about the violent nature of the attacks and frankly worried about their land, their families, all that sort of stuff. So they decided to band together. Now, it's important to note that at this point, there were lots of very spread out tribes, very distant tribes, and they were not united as one large group. So it's during the Viking invasion that the people of Scotland chose themselves a king and banded together as one common cause against one common enemy, the Vikings. Now, the king they chose was named Kenneth MacCaplin, and he is now known as the first ever King of the Scots. As the Vikings began to sort of settle in various coastal towns across England, they were defeated by the Anglo-Saxon king Alfred the Great, as he is now known. So not all of the Vikings after their defeat did return to their countries. A lot of them actually stayed in England and in various areas across Britain. A lot of them converted to Christianity and had families and lived out the rest of their lives on English shores. The final and perhaps most significant historical invasion of Britain was the invasion of the Normans. Now, in 1066, William of Normandy travelled to the UK and defeated the Anglo-Saxon king at the time, Harold, at the Battle of Hastings. Although it took place in 1066, we can actually still see and understand this battle today. That's because it was recreated in a very large and very ornate tapestry known as the Bayeux Tapestry, which we can still see in France today. After defeating Harold in battle, William became king, of course, and was therefore known as William the Conqueror. The reason we see the Norman conquest as perhaps the most significant is because it was the very last successful conquest or invasion of Britain. Now, the Norman conquest led to quite a lot of very important changes. Just like the Romans a few hundred years before, William, the new king, was able to make very important transformations to government and language in the UK. Perhaps the most significant thing that William the Conqueror did was he created the Domesday Book. Now, the Domesday Book is essentially a log of all the stock, the animals owned, the villages and the people who lived there across the country. In order to create this book, William sent out all sorts of scribes and researchers to go and see who lived where and what they did. Now, for this reason, we have a really great understanding of what Norman life was like in England at that time. And that's it for all of the conquests of Britain. Now, it's a lot to remember, so you may want to make sure you go back through the last couple of videos and make notes. But from here on out, we're going to be looking at some more modern contemporary subjects. See you next week.